Welcome aboard to another episode of OG55. We love our OG55 members, and every now and then, actually pretty frequently, we actually ask our members to pick the topic for a video. So if you are a member and you suggest a topic, we guarantee that we will make a video solely dedicated to your topic. Today's topic is courtesy of Vegas Disney, a member here on the channel, and they are asking, how are we going to improve Avengers Campus? A very topical topic right now because a lot of changes are happening over there. We're going to talk about it up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another member-picked topic today. Fantastic topic from member Vegas Disney. We're going to dive into it. It's all about Avengers Campus, making it the best Marvel land possible. George the Italiano is joining me today. George, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There we go. All right. So this is picked from member OG55 member Vegas Disney. Like I said, if you at home want a video dedicated to a certain topic, become a member and we'll do a whole video based on it. So we promise every single member topic will be its own video. So we're not going to skip over any of these. So Vegas Disney here says, how would you improve Avengers Campus so that it becomes the best Marvel land in the world? Would you make changes to its design? Would you make changes to Webslingers or replace it? What about replacing the rooftop show acts with a stunt show? Looking forward to hearing all your ideas. Okay, so this is interesting, Vegas. I love this question because there's a lot they can do with Avengers Campus, right? Number one, Webslingers, I think, needs a lot of work. Now, I like the overall idea of a Spider-Man attraction utilizing the Midway Mania style technology. I just think it's been kind of misused or poorly used, maybe is a better way to put it. Number one, when I think of Spider-Man, I'm not thinking about clunky toaster, these chonky ass fucking like ride vehicles. Spider-Man is a lean, quick, fast, on his feet kind of character. And I think the ride vehicle should sort of reflect the character, right? So what I would do in an ideal world, I would do a Kuka Arm style attraction. Okay. We have the Kuka Arm technology. They're talking about it over here with the Stark Flight Lab. I would take some of those Kuka Arms if possible, replace the chonky toaster vehicles and put you in some Kuka Arms and have you swing through scene from scene. Same idea though. You have the glasses, but you're going through each scene on that Kuka Arm. Obviously it would be less intense than what we're seeing over there for Stark Flight Lab. Excuse me. I'm still getting over the Rona, but you would kind of go through these scenes and I feel like that would bring you a much more of a Spider-Man experience. Okay. So for Webslingers, I would do that. Also, they got to fix the web situation. I feel like with like Midway Mania, when you go through that attraction, if I'm shooting my rings or the darts or the balls or whatever it is, I know like that's my dart and it's hitting that plate or whatever, right? I can see it. It's very clear, very clean, very concise. With web slingers, I literally have no idea whose webs are whose. I'm guessing. I'm just doing this and whatever I hit, okay? I think a lot of people are kind of doing that because it's a mess, okay? So I would change however they can and make it more clear and crisp as to, so you can tell like that, those are my webs, and make it more like Midway Mania. Whatever you have to do, Disney, to fix that, definitely do that. So for Web Slingers, those are my kind of ideas to kind of get the creative juices flowing. Those are my couple ideas to just improve that attraction. George, what are your thoughts? Avengers Campus, where do you start, bro?
Get rid of it all.
There it is. Get rid of it. Just bulldoze it. No.
No, just kidding. Yeah, definitely. Here's the thing with Avengers Campus. It has the potential. It shows that it can have the potential, but I feel like at the starting line, Disney had a really rough, way of like, bringing this land to life, because it came at a time where the world was in chaos, like from the times that they were making the announcements to, building this, to how it was going to be built. And then prior to that, they were expecting to have the Eastern Gateway up and ready. Avengers Campus was going to be in a different location. It got delayed opening because of the pandemic. So it was like everything was against this land. So, even though we joke about, calling it Avengers Hallway and everything, because essentially that's what it is right now, I have to say that for the battle wounds that it received to just get this land up and running, I'm surprised it is what it is. It could be much worse. Having said that, there's definitely room for improvement here. I agree with you with Web Slingers. I don't have a problem with that type of ride system. I would have used a different superhero. Just like you, when I think of Spider-Man, I don't think of slow pace, big clunky vehicles, and you're shooting at something like with digital webs that you don't even know, as you said, whose webs are whose.
Yeah.
I want to see swinging. I want to see fast-paced movement. Even you're in a clunky vehicle with the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man down at Universal Orlando, it's still very fast-paced.
Smooth.
It's smooth, exactly. And we all thought with that swinging pendulum patent that Disney, received several years ago, we thought for sure that, that was going to be for Spider-Man. And we don't really know if that was the intention or if it was for something else. But no matter how much you slice it, Web Slingers is very underwhelming, to say the least. I would love if they would have done it something maybe like with Ant-Man or something of a character that it would fit much better with. As far as the land itself, we are expecting a major expansion of the land with, Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab and everything. As far as like with the design, I don't really have a problem with the design, because it does feel very, as you call it, OG, I'm going to use your term, marvelly.
Yeah.
Because especially like when you walk into the land, like it has like the music blasting. It's like you're walking into a beginning sequence of a Marvel film, and I love that they do that. And I want more for this land. And even with Mission Breakout, even though I know it's not your cup of tea, I absolutely love that ride.
Oh yeah.
But it definitely needs more room for improvement, especially by if they're going to even add more, like maybe parts of, like with Hollywoodland or what have you. You never really know. But as far as like the aesthetics go, I don't mind, because it also ties into like the Google campus, like it fits in that California thing.
Right.
It's real world kind of thing. But I would love to see more be brought to the land, not even just with the attractions. I want to see entertainment come back as well.
Yeah, and I think the entertainment, and we're going to dip into this in another video, but it was announced today that the rooftop that Vegas Disney is talking about, the rooftop show, is actually going away in a few weeks. Okay, I do believe, and we're going to do a video on this, a separate video, because we have another member topic video we're going to do, which is more directly related to that. I do believe, to be fair to Disney, that particular cut is due to the fact that construction starting on the e-ticket, and it's right there. It's you're basically utilizing the same building, from what we understand.
Which I am kind of glad in a way it is, because it's nice to know, okay, now they're really ready to start construction on this thing to start moving dirt,
Yes.
because that was one of our biggest complaints with any of these projects is like, okay, they were announced how many months ago? Why aren't we seeing nothing move?
Yes. Now, speaking of Infinity Defense, George and I have said a couple times now in a couple videos, but I want to repeat it because not everyone watches every video. And I think the idea is freaking fantastic. Okay. Well, I think that we both think that based off of the concept and what we're seeing so far, the Kuka Arm attraction, the Stark Flight Lab, very underwhelming. I get it. It's like the technology is the theme. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I get that mindset. I see what they're doing with it, but it feels to me very Paradise Pier, where we're going to build a coaster and the coaster is the theme, right? It's a pier, right? It's, that whole thing. So it's like, it feels very cheap to me in a way. Easy fix, maybe not easy fix, but a cool fix, a badass fix for the Kuka Arm would be to merge the Kuka Arm ride with the Avengers e-ticket, okay? So what you do, Disney, what you do is you take the finale scene of Infinity Defense, where you roll up in your vehicle and you're about to fight King Thanos, okay? You roll up, you stop. King Thanos is there. It's looking really bad for us. We're all going to die, okay? And you hear Captain America say, I don't know if we can take him. We don't have enough heroes on board here to take this dude. What are we going to do? All of a sudden, you hear on your left, and on your left, you start to see the portal, and right through the portal comes all these Kuka Arms from the other attraction. So you have all these Kuka Arms mixed in with your trackless vehicle for Infinity Defense, and you're all battling King Thanos together. It's a dual ride. So you either get the Infinity Defense kind of perspective, or you can ride the Kuka Arm ride and get the Kuka Arm perspective of the same finale show building. You want to talk how dope that would be? Kevin Feige, if you ever come across this video, use our idea. We won't charge you for it. Okay.
Yep.
Just use the freaking idea. It's absolutely perfect, Feige. Perfect.
And to kind of add to what we kind of came up taking the other end of the spectrum, while everyone is on Infinity Defense, while you are being trained, through the Stark Flight Lab, you do your training, you do the individual attraction of what it already is. And then after you're done with your training, that's when you hear Tony Stark or somebody like call into your pod saying, we need all hands on deck. I repeat, we need all hands on deck. Doctor Strange will put you through the portal. Everybody, let's go. This is not a drill. King Thanos is attacking New York City. I mean, come on. Like, talk about like not even knowing like what to expect. Like, that is like crazy.
It's crazy. That would amplify both attractions. It would actually kind of, in my opinion, sort of justify Stark Flight Lab's existence. Because I feel like one of the big issues with Stark Flight Lab is that it's a lot of training with no payoff. It seems like they're going to train you, and then there's no battle. There's no nothing. Your training doesn't go to any use. So if you have all this training, and then the end thing that you have to utilize all that training is the finale scene to the other ride next door. Epic, absolutely epic. Another thing that I really want to see Avengers Campus do is get a little more diversified with the superheroes. Now, we're getting a little bit more diversity, to be fair, with Infinity Defense. It's multiverse. We're going to get a ton of superheroes in that attraction. But I also want to see other stuff. If they can expand Avengers Campus even into like the animation building. I know a lot of fans don't want to hear that, but I'm down for that. I don't care. If they can expand it into Hollywood Land, whether it be animation building, whether it even be the Hyperion Theater, give us like an X-Men attraction, that would be really cool. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more Marvel. I get it when they were coming up with the idea for Avengers Campus, the Avengers were like everything, 2019 I think it was 2019 Endgame, right?
2019.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long. 6 years already. It's crazy. 2019 Endgame, Avengers were all the rage, right? But, let's be honest, like Avengers have sort of fallen off a little bit. A lot of fans now are looking forward to X-Men, and stuff like that. So it's like, and that's the nature of the MCU. It's going to be like that. There's going to be eras where the Avengers aren't really like the thing. So I think that you really want a land that sort of like has a little bit more like diversity with what's in there and not just so focused heavily on the Avengers. So like X-Men would be dope, like a cool e-ticket for X-Men. I think that would be really cool. What else would I like to see in there? More entertainment. I know they're cutting entertainment right now. Like I said, benefit of the doubt, it's probably because of the construction. Our good friend, shout out to Alia. We love Alia. She is amazing. She mentioned that to us today in the DMs. I think she's absolutely correct on that. So, benefit of the doubt, I mean, I think that is a big part of this equation. But yeah, another thing I want to bring up too is a lot of people are kind of focused on this is Disney's only chance to do Marvel in California. And that is not true. That is not true. We're already hearing rumors. We're hearing rumors and rumblings that Fantastic Four, well, we know Fantastic Four is going to have meet and greets and stuff in Tomorrowland at Disneyland, right? If this movie cracks $1 billion, we might even see a Fantastic Four attraction at Disneyland. There might even be an entire Marvel land outside of Avengers Campus. They might build Wakanda over in the Symbol lot. Disney does this all the time. In DCA.
They talked about it. Wakanda was one of the top potential lands that they were considering while pitching Disneyland forward to Anaheim. And they don't say that just out of a whim. Let's just come up with like a couple IPs. I mean, if they really threw that out there, that means they were like really serious about possibly doing Wakanda, outside of the campus, and you could have little tie-ins to that as well.
Right.
You could throw in some Easter eggs where the campus kind of pays homage to Wakanda and vice versa, or even over like in Tomorrowland, where if they do find a permanent home for Fantastic Four, that'd be great.
Oh, it'd be awesome. And we've seen it even in DCA with other franchises, so this isn't like out of the realm of possibility. We have Cars Land sitting right next to Pixar Pier. 2 Pixar lands right next to each other. So you're not limited into like just Avengers Campus, and that's the only Marvel thing we'll ever have in California. Not true.
Look what used to be before Avengers Campus. It was a Bugs Land, another Pixar property. So you had at one point a Bugs Land, Cars Land, and then shortly after that, Paradise Pier became Pixar Pier. So
yeah, so I wouldn't worry too much. I think that there's a lot more Marvel. I used to have that same mindset, to be fair. I used to have that same mindset of like, oh, this is it. We really have to utilize Hollywood Land for Marvel now because they're boxed in. I've kind of changed my viewpoint on that. I think that all bets are off with that. I think that if they want to do another Marvel land in DCA, they absolutely will. They've done multiple times with Pixar. They're already hinting they're going to do Fantastic Four over in Disneyland. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. But there's a lot of potential here. And look, I know a lot of people like to crap on Bob Iger. Okay, I know it's very trendy. It's very lucrative too. You know what I'm saying? Make a lot of moolah shitting on Bob. But I will say this. On Bob Iger's watch, up until he left the first time for the pandemic, we saw pretty cool stuff in the theme parks. We saw Cars Land, DCA 2.0. We saw Pandora. We were doing some pretty hot stuff. You know what I'm saying? Chapek came in and kind of, it got a little rough. You know what I'm saying? But Chapek is gone now. And I really do believe now we're going to start seeing more quality stuff. We got Bruce Vaughn back at Imagineering. You know what I'm saying? We got Joe Rohde back as a consultant. I think good times are here again at Imagineering. I think we're going to see some really, really positive stuff going forward. We've seen it before with Bob Iger's leadership before. We've seen he knows how to juggle the creative and the financials and bring us quality product. I have no reason to believe he can't do it again. Okay? I have no reason to believe. Now, here's the thing though. Bob ain't going to be there forever. We got a new CEO coming in pretty soon. So will that new CEO continue that? I don't know. That's the only question mark. I'm assuming they will. We got a lot of smart people. The dude from, was it Morgan Stanley? I think it is, heading that succession committee. So I'm pretty sure they'll find a competent person that can kind of, guide these parks into the future. But I think we'll be just fine. But yeah, I think that this Avengers stuff going forward, I have I'm cautiously optimistic, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. Just because we've seen Bob Iger's leadership before, and we've seen what on his watch, what they're capable of. So I think we're going to be okay. But Avengers Campus, we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. We got some big changes coming, soon. We got two rides.
Two attractions. It's basically almost doubling the size of the land how it currently stands now.
Yeah. And I bet you once we get these attractions in there, we'll get more of the entertainment in there again. From what I understand, they were actually kind of like bundling the marketing cost for a lot of these Disney Plus shows like WandaVision and what have you. The marketing cost was sort of being used for some of this like Avengers Campus stuff, like the walk around characters and the Loki stuff and all that. Mm-hmm. So I believe some of that cost was passed on to the studio. If I'm not mistaken, correct me in the comments down below if you know for sure, but I could have sworn I heard that. Where the studio was actually fitting the bill for some of that stuff. It wasn't the parks division because it was being utilized as marketing for these shows. I hope Disney continues that because I think it's a smart strategy and it keeps the entertainment fresh and flowing. So we'll see. But Vegas Disney, fantastic topic, dude. Really, really cool stuff. We had a good time talking to Avengers, talking Marvel. I think Marvel has a big, big future out here in California. This is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. But George, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said. Vegas Disney, great topic. Definitely a lot to dive into, and we'll just have to wait and see where the future leads. Because you also have to think, because we talked about it a lot on this channel, like when Disney is involved with a project with Avatar, James Cameron comes along with it. When Disney does a project with Marvel or the Avengers or some sort of other, superhero IP tied to the MCU, they get Kevin Feige tied to that as well. And right. Kevin Feige, just like James Cameron, is a stickler for detail. And he is one that is like, go big or go home. So everything that we're going to be getting with Marvel moving forward, it's going to be pretty spectacular.
I agree. And Kevin Feige is a big Disney nerd. Believe it or not, I know it seems weird. A lot of people are like really surprised by that, but he is. There was a show on Disney Plus about the archives, and Kevin Feige was nerding out over Disney animatronics. He loves the Disney animatronic. He loves Mary Poppins. This guy loves this stuff, man. Feige
he was present for Richard Sherman's tribute at D23.
Yes, because the whole Howard Stark thing was one giant tribute to Walt Disney, and they brought in Richard Sherman to do the music for that whole thing in the movie. So he's a huge Disney nut, and he has a passion for this stuff. So I trust Feige. Just Burbank, get out of the way, let Feige and the Imagineers do their thing, and I think we'll be okay. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. George, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
Yep. And George and I will be doing what we call bar chats, where we go into theme parks, whether it be Disneyland, whether it be Universal. We find a little cozy spot in the parks, and we have conversations like these in the parks. Really, really fun. The last bar chat we had, which I'll be linking at the end of this show, we had a few visitors join us that we didn't expect. It was really fun. Really cool. And that's why I love the bar chats, because we're in the field. You know what I'm saying? Out there in the field, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And we're doing the same nerdy stuff we're doing here, but we're just doing it with the people. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But thank you for watching this episode, OG55. We're going to end this video like we always end this video, with the Queen.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.